In the bustling digital city of Textopolis, every emoji had a purpose. From smiley face to sad face, everyone had a job, contributing to the messages sent by users worldwide. Among them, Jean, the multi-expressional emoji, stood out. Jean could display multiple emotions, unlike the others who had just one set expression. Despite his unique talent, Jean often felt like an outsider in the rigid structure of Textopolis. Despite his unique talent, Jean often felt like an outsider in the rigid structure of Textopolis. Jean! We have an emergency. Meet me at the firewall gate ASAP. Jean's heart raced. An emergency in Textopolis could mean anything from a malfunctioning app to a full-blown virus attack. Without hesitation, he darted through the streets, dodging Poop Emoji, who was, as usual, making quite a mess. At the firewall gate, High Five was pacing nervously. He turned sharply as Jean approached. "What's going on, High Five?" Jean asked, panting slightly. "It's jailbreak," High Five said, his voice trembling. "She's missing. Last seen heading towards the old archive, but there's no trace of her now." Jailbreak was a smart and resourceful emoji who had helped Jean on numerous occasions. The thought of her being in trouble was unsettling. Jean clenched his fists, determination setting in. "We have to find her," Jean said firmly. "But where do we start?" High Five handed Jean a small, metallic device. "This is a tracker." It was picking up her signal until it suddenly went dead. The last location was near the edge of the firewall. Jean examined the tracker, his mind racing with possibilities. The firewall was a dangerous place, filled with forgotten apps and data. It was a no-man's land where few dared to venture. "We need to follow this lead," Jean said. "If there's any chance Jailbreak is out there, we have to find her." High Five nodded. "Let's go. Time is of the essence." With the tracker in hand, Jean and High Five navigated through the bustling streets of Textopolis, heading towards the firewall. As they approached the city's edge, the vibrant colors and cheerful emojis gave way to a darker, more foreboding atmosphere. The firewall loomed ahead, a massive barrier of swirling code and data, protecting the city from the unknown dangers beyond. Jean felt a shiver run down his spine but steeled himself. Jailbreak needed them. "Stay close," Jean whispered to High Five as they slipped through a narrow gap in the firewall. On the other side, the environment was vastly different. The landscape was a dense, digital jungle, filled with towering data trees and thick underbrush of corrupted files. Strange sounds echoed through the air, and the ground seemed to pulse with a life of its own. "Wow, this place is creepy," High Five said, his eyes wide with awe and fear. Jean checked the tracker again. It was faint, but a signal was still detectable, leading them deeper into the jungle. "We have to keep moving," Jean said, taking the lead. "Stay alert." As they ventured further, the jungle became more treacherous. Vines of old code entangled their feet, and the air grew heavy with the scent of decaying data. Jean's senses were on high alert, every rustle and movement catching his attention. Suddenly, they heard a low growl. Jean froze, signaling High Five to be silent. From the shadows emerged a group of corrupted emojis, their once vibrant colors now dull and lifeless. They were known as the Lost, emojis who had been banished from Textopolis for various reasons. One of the Lost, a grizzled old laughing face emoji, stepped forward. "What do we have here? Fresh meat?" Jean stepped forward bravely. "We're not looking for trouble. We're just passing through, searching for a friend." The laughing face emoji sneered. "This is our territory now. No one passes without paying a toll." High Five gulped. "What kind of toll?" The Lost emojis grinned menacingly. Your data, the laughing face said. Hand over some of your data, and we might let you go. Jean knew they couldn't afford to lose any data, especially not with Jailbreak's life at stake. He stood his ground, ready to fight if necessary. Just then, a figure leaped from the shadows, landing between Jean and the Lost. It was Jailbreak, her eyes blazing with determination. Back off, she commanded, her voice firm. These are my friends. If you want them, you'll have to go through me. The Lost hesitated, recognizing the fierce warrior in front of them. After a tense moment, the laughing face emoji nodded slowly. Fine. But remember, this jungle is ours. Tread carefully. With that, the Lost melted back into the shadows. Jailbreak turned to Jean and high-five, a relieved smile on her face. Jailbreak! High-five exclaimed, rushing forward to hug her. We thought we'd lost you. Jailbreak hugged him back. I'm okay. Just ran into a bit of trouble. But we need to get out of here. There's something much more dangerous in this jungle. Jean's curiosity piqued. What do you mean? Jailbreak's expression turned serious. There's a powerful virus out here, more potent than anything we've encountered before. It's corrupting everything in its path. We need to find its source and stop it before it breaches the firewall and infects Textopolis. With Jailbreak leading the way, the trio ventured deeper into the digital jungle, the sense of urgency driving them forward. As they moved, Jailbreak explained more about the virus she had discovered. It's not just any virus, she said, her voice low. It's called the Hydra virus. It can replicate itself and adapt to any environment. If it gets into Textopolis, it could mean the end of everything we know. Jean's heart pounded at the thought. How do we stop it? We need to find the core of the virus, Jailbreak replied. As they trekked through the jungle, they encountered various obstacles. Corrupted data streams formed treacherous rivers they had to cross, and aggressive programs lurked in the shadows, ready to attack. But with Jailbreak's knowledge, Jean's versatility, and High-Five's unwavering support, they managed to push forward. Eventually, they arrived at a massive clearing. In the center stood an ancient, towering structure made of fragmented code and data blocks. The structure pulsed with a dark energy, the epicenter of the virus. That's it, Jailbreak said, pointing towards the structure. The core is inside. Jean felt a chill run down his spine. The air around the structure was thick with corruption, making it difficult to breathe. But he knew they had no choice. As they approached the entrance, a loud roar echoed through the clearing. From the shadows emerged a colossal beast, its body formed entirely of corrupted code. It was the guardian of the core, a formidable opponent that stood between them and their goal. We have to take it down, Jailbreak said, drawing her weapon, a sleek, high-tech blade. Jean, High-Five, cover me. Jean and High-Five nodded, readying themselves for the battle. The beast charged, its massive claws swiping through the air. Jailbreak leaped forward, her blade cutting through the corrupted code. Jean used his multi-expressional abilities to distract and confuse the beast, while High-Five provided support, throwing digital grenades to weaken it. The battle was intense, the Guardian relentless in its attacks. But with their combined efforts, they managed to overpower it. Jailbreak delivered the final blow, her blade piercing the beast's core. With a deafening roar, the Guardian disintegrated into a cloud of corrupted data, leaving the entrance to the structure unguarded. Panting and bruised, the trio entered the structure. Inside, the atmosphere was even more oppressive. The walls were lined with pulsating veins of corrupted code, and the air was filled with a low, ominous hum. At the center of the structure was the core of the Hydra virus, a massive, swirling vortex of dark energy. It pulsed with a malevolent force, the source of the corruption. "We need to destroy it," Jailbreak said, her voice determined. "But be careful. It's highly unstable." Jean and High Five nodded, ready to assist. Jailbreak approached the core, her blade raised. As she prepared to strike, the core emitted a powerful shockwave, knocking them all back. "We need to weaken it first," Jean said, struggling to his feet. "High Five, do you have any more grenades?" High Five nodded, pulling out the remaining grenades. "Let's do this." Working together, they launched a coordinated attack on the core, using every weapon at their disposal. The core retaliated, sending out waves of corruption, but they fought through the pain and exhaustion, determined to save their home. Finally, with one last, powerful strike, Jailbreak's blade pierced the heart of the core. The structure trembled, the core shattering violently before exploding in a burst of light and energy. As the explosion subsided, the corruption began to dissipate, the digital jungle slowly returning to its natural state. The air cleared, and the oppressive atmosphere lifted.